There are times when you're going to have to fill out a table of values. I'm going to show you how to fill out a table of values. So what you'll often have is you'll have an equation. So let's say, for example, our equation is y equals 3x plus 2. Then what you may have is you may be given some values of x. So let's say, for example, you were given the values 3, 4, 5, 0, -1. Now I picked some pretty arbitrary values here. Usually you'll want to do some values in order from lowest to highest. So what you do for each one of these lines is you take the value of x and you just plug it into the equation. So what we have is, we know that the y here is equal to 3, and then we plug in the value of x plus 2. And the actual result of that is 3 times 3 is 9, 9 plus 2 is 11. And we just keep on doing that down the board. So we have, for the next one, we go y equals 3, but now what we sub in, and we're going to sub in something else, and then we'll sub in something else. And either way, we're taking the equation we have on top, and we're going to be subbing in the number to figure out what the value of y is. So here we're going to sub in a 4, and then 3 times 4 is 12, 12 plus 2 is 14. Sub in a 5, 3 times 5 is 15, 15 plus 2 is 17. Here we're subbing in a 0, 3 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 2 is 2, minus 1 is, well, we're going to sub in the minus 1. 3 times -1 is -3. -3 plus 2, if you do it in a calculator, is -1. And if we sub -7 into this, 3 times -7 is -21. And -21 plus 2 is -19. Now, a more condensed way of writing this, so once you've actually solved this, right, is really when y equals, so we have y equals 3x plus 2. A table of values for y equals 3x plus 2 for those x values would be, so we kind of look at these, and we're going to get 11, 14, 17, 2, -1, and -19. So here's a table of values. Now, why might we want a table of values? Because that would allow us to make a graph. So I'm going to take a sheet over here. So here's just the grid. And what I want to do is I want to plot these values over here. So I'm going to plot our table of values. So we have 3 and 11. Well, that point doesn't fit on, but 3 and 11 would be somewhere over there. 4 and 14 is way off. 5 and 10 and 17 is 2 off. 0 and 2, -1 and 1. So this was not a very good selection of points. So we're trying to draw a graph, and we're trying to figure out what the graph looks like, and we didn't really get many points that were on this grid. So probably we should try some different points. So what I might try to do instead, so I'm going to make a table of values, but I'm going to choose smarter values this time. So x and y. So in this case, what I know with the graph is I'm going to try to do, maybe we'll do minus 3 minus 2 minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Those would be better values. Now before, what I did was I did the whole line where I did the y equals 3, 7 the point, negative 3 plus 2, which is negative 9, which is negative 7. I'm going to do that all the way down. I don't necessarily have to write this whole thing out every time. I could, if you're good enough, you could do it in your calculator, you could do it in your head. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, it's negative 4. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, plus 2 is negative 1. That's the 0. We actually saw that one before. 5, and then plug in the 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay, so probably we'll be able to do a better job now. So what we have is, we have the point, well that was a 7, or negative 7. Probably keep that in range. So we know that we have the point negative 3 and negative 7. We have the point negative 2 and negative 4. We have the point negative 1 and negative 1. We have the point 0 and 2. 1 and 5. 2 and 8. And we have a much better collection of points this time. And so if we take our handy dandy ruler, I should probably get a ruler, but for now this is going to be our handy dandy ruler. And we draw a line. And the line should go actually all the way to the edge of the graph. And this is the line y equals 3x plus 2. You may be graphing other things, so you'll be graphing lots of other equations. A little look ahead, if you have something, for example, like y equals 3x squared plus 5x plus 1, and you want to sub in the point 10, you probably wouldn't, because that's going to be really off the graph, as we'll see. So the equation is y equals 3, and then you're going to sub in that value for every point in x. So it's going to be something squared plus 5 times that thing you sub in plus 1. So it's going to be 10, 10, like that. And then we remember bed mass. So that's going to be 10 squared. So it's going to be 3 times 100 plus 5 times 10 plus 1, which is 300 plus 50 plus 1, which is 351, which means what we have is we have the point 10 and 351. And this is when we're doing something called quadratics. But it turns out you could do a table of values for absolutely any type of equation, as long as you pick values for x and plug in the values for x appropriately.